My name is Matthew Robar. I also go by the name of Theory. I'm a Calgary-based hip-hop recording artist. I'm also an addict. I'm also a survivor. And I'm also very, very grateful that my addiction doesn't rule my life anymore. My clean date is June 17th, 2020. I just celebrated my first year sober, and Riley was also a very good friend of mine. I had a plan for how this was going to go, but that's all out the window now. For years, my addiction ruled my life, every second and every moment of it. You know, like many others, unfortunately, I didn't know of the resources, however limited they may be. I didn't understand where I could go to get help. I didn't know how to deal with the things in my life that turned me to drugs and alcohol to begin with. And for years, I failed to fight against it. It took me a long time to understand my true predicament. And, you know, being in the industry that I'm in, you don't see a lot of sober musicians, especially sober hip-hop artists. It's a very drug-fueled industry. And, you know, a big issue of my upbringing was that need to fit in, and drugs and alcohol gave me that. You know, in the program that I work, we talk about drugs and alcohol being a solution, and for some time it was, until it wasn't. And you know, the further I went down this path, the harder it was for me to break away with it, because everybody in my life was ruled by their addiction. You know, every concert was a party, and then the after party, and then the after party, and then the after party. The difference is a lot of people could stop. My after parties would last weeks and months, and I lost almost everything that I had to this disease. But I'm grateful that doesn't have to happen anymore. I'll try to let the music speak for itself, because Sam got me all emotional. That was beautiful. I miss my boy. Let's do this. This first one's called Clueless. This is with my brother Shane Bellevue. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it today, so we're just gonna have to vibe up through his parts. The man can sing like an angel, though. Let's do this. Only wish I had the answer for why I act like I do know when I look into the mirror. What staring back is the truth. It's hard to handle, cause all I got is this booth and this booze that's gonna hold me down, but got these screws loose. It's messing me up, I'm losing all my patience, but I did this on my own, man. I accept the situation, even though I hate it. I gotta find a way out. When I think I found a new path, I end up on the same route, forward and backwards and backward and forwards, and all that I ever wanted is for them not to ignore us. Inside of my body, I'm a tourist. Dissociation led to me losing importance. Now I gotta find a way that I can get on track. Almost took my life once, and if I didn't, couldn't get it back. That's what I remember when I'm feeling down. Even when it's hard, at least my feet are planted on this ground.
Forever struck with this feeling that's been left inside, asking myself why I do this. Anything good or positive that come into my life, I'm trading it out quick for bad influence. Why do I think this way? I can't focus on tomorrow, need to finish today.
Find the glow but never see the rest of me. Living this double life, my secret recipe. I'm so... Put your hands up in the air for me one time, and move side to side.
I'm so clueless, but I can't seem to open my mouth. I'm so clueless, and even though I'm screaming inside, I'm so clueless. Yeah, I'm so in and out of good and bad, a victim of this circumstance. I can't take a chance, really need to make a plan. Messed up and I can't stand, locked up, I should've ran. Now I walk while I'm stumbling on my feet, baby. It's hard to live when you know you facing defeat daily. While these thoughts in my head buzzing keep me crazy, I let them stay, cause one day maybe they'll repay me. Spend enough time with them every day, tell me I can't, but I know I could get it. Sick of feeling like I'm finished with everything in my life. I'll focus only on making it right. Forever struck with this feeling that's been left inside, asking myself why I do this. Anything good or positive that come into my life, I'm trading it out quick for bad influence.
I didn't choose it.
Why do I think this way? I can't focus on tomorrow, need to finish today.
I lose it.
Find the good but never see the rest of me. Living this stubborn life, my secret recipe. I'm so
Clueless.
I need to figure that. Let's do that one more time. That felt good. So clueless, but I can't seem to open my mouth. I'm so
Clueless.
and even though I'm screaming inside,
So clueless.
yeah, I'm so. Whoa, oh, 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 yeah. Whoa, oh, oh. I need to figure this out. I'm so clueless. Whoa, oh, 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 yeah. Whoa, oh, oh. And even though I'm screaming inside, I'm so clueless. Yeah, I'm so. First off, I want to thank every single one of you for sticking out in this rain and dealing with this with us. About 4.5 years ago, I lost another very, very close friend of mine. I thought this man was Superman. You know, I understand that all of us can go, but I seen this man conquer some incredible things, and I didn't think it was possible. The day that he died, I was in probably the worst of my addiction at the time, at least. And, you know, on antipsychotic medicine and the whole nine, still using and drinking at the time. And when he died, I threw the bottle away and of pills. I picked up the other bottle, but and I kind of spiraled out of control. And it was 3 days of no sleep and doing a whole bunch of things that I shouldn't. And to this day, I don't remember what happened and why I went to where I went to. But you know, in the program that I work, we talk about a jumping off point where drugs and alcohol work for a while. Without the drugs and alcohol, without the solution, when drugs and alcohol stop working, I have nothing to work. It's a jumping off point. My jumping off point was literally a jumping off point, and I jumped off a bridge. And I'm still here, thankfully. But these are things that I wasn't really meant to deal with at the time, I don't think. And it was my first attempt at trying to get sober, and no matter how crazy things got at that time, it still wasn't enough. No amount of willpower that I had at the time was enough for me to find substantial removal of substance and to start to live a better life. It took me 4 years of working and trying different things to finally find something that worked, and that brings us to today. You know, the things that have happened in the last couple months in particular, you know, Riley and me got acquainted on some very strange circumstances, you know, back in Nexopia days, old school MySpace, for those of y'all that know, you know. And Devin and me started chatting, and he introduced me to Riley. And it turns out that me and Riley are born 3 hours apart, only a couple of rooms apart in the same hospital. And it was kind of a connecting factor. We're in the same kind of music. We wrote the same kind of hip hop, and it led to a pretty beautiful friendship for some years. Our addictions took us to different places, and I still have regrets for not being as present in any of their lives towards the end of it. But when he passed, you know, my typical coping mechanisms with death or loss is to drown myself in substance, to lock myself away and throw away the key. But that's not an option today. And what came of it is this song. So we're going to do this one, and then we'll wrap this up. This one's called Upside Down. Once again, I thank you guys very, very much for sticking out this weather. We got some beautiful blue skies coming in. I'd like to think that somebody's watching us. While this chorus plays, I ask each and every single one of you to put somebody in your thoughts. If prayers are your thing, then do that. But I want to send some love and some light up into the skies right now for those that aren't with us anymore. Some thoughts and some prayers and some energy go out to those that are still suffering. Let's do this. this for the days when they say it'll be okay, but I know that it won't. And that voice in your brain decides on the change, and then you go pick up that phone, calling your dealer again. You say it's the last time, but Lord only knows that this is the last time that your last breath now finally goes. Ain't no turning back from this. Far from glamorous, hide the camera tricks, how we manage this. Face the facts and stats deadly accurate. Losing too many young lives, from daughters and sons to husbands and wives. We're seeing this all of the time, trying to write this, I'm honestly crying. I can't take this no more, you don't gotta do this on your own. Pick up the phone, this time instead of your dealer, please call me, I promise that you're not alone. Hard to find silence through the noise, but I swear you have a choice, and I hope through me they find a voice. But I hope through me you find a voice. One more time, put your hands in the air and let's send that love and that light and that energy out to those that need it right now. For the addicts and the alcoholics that are still suffering, that haven't made it here yet, may they find peace and may they find recovery. Wishing I really could help them, but maybe another dimension. Maybe that's really just selfish. Never seem to follow through with all my intentions. Got a pure heart, but I'm still sick. Need to numb it all, don't wanna feel this. Stuck to the ground when I'm wheels spin. Been a lifetime to conceal it. I can't lie to myself, I was only a line away from ending it all. I was packing my bags, find a permanent hideaway, praying I die today. Didn't care what I leave behind. If you asked, I'd say I'm feeling fine. But if you look close now, you'd see the signs. Man, it really takes strength to lead the blind. I was looking for that dark side of the moon, but I'm lucky I never let the flames touch that burnt side of that spoon. I'm grateful now I can tell my story. Pray I'm seeing y'all soon. I thank God that I'm here today. I know what I'm supposed to do, but our goal moving forward from this is to let those that don't know that there's a way out find a way out. There's little bits that we can do in our community to make sure that people don't suffer anymore, and from here on out, that's my goal. Whatever I can do with my music, whatever I can do with my fellowship and the people around me, that's what my life is meant to be today. And the love and the support that we see in these beautiful people that are here right now prove that we can make a difference. We don't have to live like this anymore as a society. We're right that there is a second pandemic happening right now, and it's not talked about. We can be the change that we need to be in this community, and for all of y'all being here today, I really, really appreciate that, and I love you. Once again, I go by the name of Theory. Thank you very much for having me.